Doris had thrown her dummy out of the pram, or at least she would have done had she owned a pram, or indeed a dummy. Both were in short supply as a result of something called Brexit. Thomas didn't understand Brexit, and on this occasion he was not alone. No one understood Brexit. Edward had tried to explain it was an act of national suicide. Thomas knew about suicide. Whenever he went down to the coast to collect the fish train, the flying kipper, he had to pick up tracks from a siding by a sewer. He'd spent hours by the sewer-side. The sewer was a large pipe that pumped smelly brown sludge into the sea. Doris, you will remember, was a fairly useless little railcar. She was, or had been, fixated on the Fat Controller. Right now she felt violated and was threatening to leave the yard. "I feel violated," she said. It seems that before he left, the Fat Controller had promised to upgrade her to a Pullman. "Pullman," said Percy. "Well, you certainly have the experience. How many men have you pulled?" James chipped in. "It's not the quantity, it's the quality and frequency," Percy replied. "If you're pulling a man, you have to do it often." Nigel was also in a chuff. "Nigel's in a chuff," said Henry. "That's because he's a chuffer train," Percy replied. "Oh, I don't know about that," said Henry. "But he is a monumental clanker. He's been clanking round the yard for days. What's his problem?" "How long have you got?" asked Percy. Nigel was the Brexit engine. Henry went on. "Well, I know it's a problem with the sick eagles." "Ill eagles," Edward reminded him. "They're not sick, they're ill." "We all know about the eagles," said James. "He never stops talking about them." Edward explained he's got a problem with the Rat Controller. He thinks he's incompetent. Thomas thought for a moment. "Does that mean he has to wear a nappy?" he asked. "Incompetent," said Edward. "It means he doesn't know whether he's coming or going." "In that case," observed Percy, "he really ought to be wearing a nappy." Edward was not amused. Nigel, it's true, was far from gruntled. In fact, the casual observer might be excused for thinking to be completely disgruntled. Brexit was the problem. "The Rat Controller hasn't a clue," he said. "He couldn't run the proverbial in a brewery. He and his mates have done nothing about the illegals, and they've made a complete pig's breakfast of Brexit. By now the island should be seeing the benefits. We should be enjoying an endless bounty." "My driver enjoys a bounty," said James. "It's not endless, but there is an awful lot of coconut."